find myself vacillating between options. And in that vacillating, I feel like I'm not necessarily going in either direction.
But you know what's happening when you're doing that? In every case, you're outside of the vortex. That feeling of indecision is trying to figure out what to do from the vantage point of being outside the vortex, where if all you cared about was being in the vortex, you wouldn't be indecisive, because it's already been decided. You already put the components in the vortex. Let's put this into a very clear context. The vortex is always decisive. You may have heard us say, just make a decision and make the decision the right decision. Because when you say, I'd like to do that, but I'm not sure, and maybe I should do that, or maybe I should do that, you just keep splitting your energy all over the place. But no problem, because through all of that, you're putting clarity into your vortex. But you can simplify your life dramatically by not trying to figure out what to do, but instead of saying, I'm outside of my power trying to figure out what to do, if you could just say, I'm outside of my power, so I've got to figure out how to be inside of my power. That's the only thing you got to figure out how to do, which means I've just got to find the best feeling thought that I can find from where I am. So as you say, so for example, I feel indecisive. So let's do a focus wheel. I feel indecisive. I don't know whether to go this way or that way.
Can I give a subject for it? Okay. My business, I'm moving in a couple different directions. And
but wait, you are not moving in a couple of different directions. You're moving in the direction of your vortex. Clean up your image of how this all works. Okay. In other words, do you believe that you were source energy before you came into this body?
Completely.
Do you believe that since you've been here that you have expanded to something more?
Completely.
Do you believe that that whole of you that is expanded stands in that expanded place and is calling you? That's not moving in two directions. That's moving in this direction. So the statement, I'm moving in two different directions, is not an accurate statement. The statement is, I'm not letting myself go with the flow that I've already carved out, might be an accurate statement. I'm holding myself back with thoughts that always feel bad when I think them.
Okay.
You see?
I could have said there's new aspects which I'm exploring instead of the multiple directions.
Well,
but this, yeah.
We just want you to, if you can incorporate this understanding of who you've become. In other words, people use all kinds of words. They say, oh, I'm confused, or I'm going in two different directions, and they write endless books about all of there are so many books written by people who are outside the vortex, just trying to figure all the dynamics of what it's like to be outside the vortex. And we say, just get in the vortex. Just stop messing around with all this stuff that is utterly irrelevant. Every time you feel negative emotion, it's for one reason only. You're not letting yourself be who you are. Stop joining the clubs that are all trying to organize about the different ways they figured out how to stay out of the vortex. There's just endless conversation about what life's like outside the vortex. Oh, I'm confused. I'm split. I'm going in too many directions at once. I can't feel my power. I don't feel enlightened. I must not be on the right karmic wheel.
I get what you're saying.
It's their fault. 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 And we say all of that. Let's just put it in one category. Doesn't feel good. What does that mean? Not in the vortex.
So to sum it up, number one, make my priority alignment and get in the vortex. Number two, it is done. It's done, it's done, it's done, it's done.
And how do you go about making your priority be to be in the vortex? What's the easiest way for you to do that?
That's a good question.
I want to feel good. I want to feel good, because everything that I want is for one reason only. I think I will feel better in the having it.
Okay, scenario. I wake up, I go to the gym, I feel good, my body's responding to me.
Because the attention that I was given as I was doing that motion, I was completely involved in that. It's sort of like breathing or meditating, and I was distracting myself from the often thoughts that keep me out of the vortex. So the activity of the gym was an inside the vortex kind of activity. How can I keep it going?
And so usually after I come home and do some little stuff,
little stuff like what?
Shower,
All right. Yes.
and most times, sometimes
Well, there's a difference. Little stuff like shower is an inside the vortex activity. Little stuff like pay bills may not be. Little stuff like clean up the mess that somebody else made might not be.
Sometimes I actually, I get my journals. I go to Starbucks, kick my feet up. It might be till 12, it might be till 11, it might be till 10. It might just be a couple pages, or it might be 15 pages, whatever.
And
are
you able to maintain the momentum of being in the vortex?
It feels good. And to be honest with you, I can't hide it from you because you can probably see it all.
Thus the probing questions. Yes.
I know it needs to be done. I know it needs to be done that day. Or I have an idea in my mind of things that I want to see finished or see progress on or see. And, some of it, I'm able to be in the vortex. But then some days it's just like, you know what? Writing just felt like all I want to do today. And, there's a little twinge of back and forth with that. But
so what you're talking about is there are things that I have to do that I don't really want to do. And there are things that I want to do that I really want to do. And the things I want to do are more conducive to me being in the vortex. And the things I don't want to do are not so conducive to me being in the vortex. Yes?
At times, yes.
Isn't that what you're getting at here?
Yeah, definitely.
So you have two choices. You have three choices. You can do the thing you don't want to do and have it jerk you out of the vortex. Or you can contemplate it and get in the vortex while you contemplate it before you do it. In other words, you really have the choice of doing it outside the vortex or doing it inside the vortex, or finding a way to help you bring yourself in relative
to bring that into to bring that whatever I'm doing into the fun factor, or try to figure out a way to not necessarily have the contrary thoughts.
To release the resistance in it.
Okay.
So